during 2020? Was it social media? Was it the news, which was more about opinion than fact? Was it the 1 p.m. briefings? Was it about your own success or your own failure? Or did you anchor to our living God? How deep did your roots go in 2020? Were they deep enough to withstand the storm? Or shallow that when the first winds blew, your tree toppled over? You know, when you put your roots deep into God's word, his love, and grow a relationship with him, you won't be defined by your circumstances. You won't be defined by your past. You won't be defined by what you've been through. We are who God says we are. But you know, knowing what we know now, how do we set ourselves up for 2021? This is the first Sunday of 2021. How do we set ourselves up? God is about to do something new. Isaiah 43 verse 19 says, "For I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness, and I will create rivers in the dry wasteland." So how do we prepare ourselves for what God is going to do in 2021? You know, God has a new seed to sow into our lives. And we need to prepare to receive that seed. So how do we prepare to receive the seed? I'm a farmer, and we need to get out our plow. We need to get out our plows. If you're a farmer, you know what I mean. We need to get out our plow. I want to take you back to 1987. 1987, I was 18, and I just finished high school. I was unsure of what I was going to be doing next. When a farmer in our church back in the UK, his name was Stuart Shell. It's not relevant to the story, but it adds a nice little bit of detail. He was behind with his autumn cultivations and needed some help. I'll go, I said. I had no idea what autumn cultivations were or any idea what being behind meant, but I was going to go. So I arranged to meet him in the middle of nowhere on a crossroads, by a road, by a gate, by a goat, by a big oak tree. You know how it goes, in the middle of nowhere. I rode my motorbike out to where I was supposed to be and waited in a gateway. I guessed I was in the right place because over the brow of the hill I could hear something roaring. And as I waited, slowly over the crest of the hill came this tractor roaring away, followed by a big metally thing. Have we got a picture? There it is. That is the tractor of 1987. It's a David Brown 1690. It's 112 horsepower. It's 4-wheel drive. And that behind it is a Ransom 6-furrow semi-mounted conventional plough. If you're interested, I do still remember things like that. It's quite exciting if you like those things. You're lucky I'm not talking about cows this morning. I very quickly learned that autumn cultivations meant ploughing. And, you know, that was the first tractor I'd ever driven. Ever. I went from my motorbike into the tractor. Stuart showed me how the tractor worked. I wasn't really working that out, but I drove that, pulled the plough behind it. And the next 3 months, I spent making a real mess of Stuart's fields. I got a book out from the library. This is 1987, there's no internet. I can't Google anything. I know you can't. You young people may not be able to work out what life was even like then, but you had to go to the library, get a book out, a book of how to plough. And I spent 3 months mastering ploughing basics. And when I mastered ploughing basics, did we see the picture of my mastering plough basics? Well, there's actually one before, but this is moving on. Like I moved on from oh, there you go. That's me mastering my ploughing basics. Look at that furrow up there. It's good. If I do say so. Anyway, after I've been ploughing for a bit, and this next picture, you can see I carried on ploughing, but I moved up to a John Deere 3050, which is actually a better tractor than the Case. And this cab is a second generation SG2 cab. Revolutionary. I don't believe there's ever been a cab quite like it. And it was a disappointment when John Deere stopped making that, but that is probably the best John Deere tractor. I'll just tell you about the plough. It's a Rabbie work 4-furrow a fully mounted reversible, means you can flip it over and go back the other way. It's exciting stuff, eh? But anyway, I was with Stuart's hill and I finished plowing with Stuart, and Stuart said, let me show you how cows work. So I went down to his cow shed called a parlour, and he taught me how to milk. And after that, I went to a careers advisor. After that, I applied for ag college, and that was the next 30 years of my life. And it all started with a plough. All started with a plough. And the time is right for ploughing. The season is right. In Proverbs 20 verse 4 it says, those too lazy to plough in the right season will have no food at the harvest. Or as the Message says, a farmer too lazy to plant in the spring has nothing to harvest in the autumn.